review. Book one was about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest, 87 years old author entrepreneur who just completed a Guinness World Record publishing attempt releasing 18 books in 1 year. None other than Mr. David Selley. Welcome, Mr. David, on Book 101 Review. And can you please introduce more about yourself that I miss?
Good morning. Nice to be here and looking forward to chatting with you.
Yes, and thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and wisdom to the world, Mr. David. Thank you. And today, let's talk about the writing process of all your books. At 87 years old, you've just set a 2025 Guinness World of Record as the oldest author to publish the most books in 1 year. Congratulations, Mr. David. Take us back to the moment you decide to go for this. What sparked the idea of attempting something so audacious at this stage of your life?
Well, it's a long story actually, but I'll give you the short version of it. Um, Many years ago, when I was a kid in England, that's a long time ago, of course. I heard this rumor through the family that one of my far distant relatives had created a world record to be the champion clay pigeon shot in the world. I was never able to validate that, but fast forward 40, 50, 60 years, um, we were raising our grandkids in Hawaii. And one night when I was telling them stories, as we do as parents and grandparents, we tell, the boogeyman under the bed stories and scare the kids a little bit, and they love it, of course. And one of them looked up to me. His name is Mason. He's now 22. And he said to me, Papa, why don't you write all your stories down and then someday we can read them when we're older? And that was the beginning of the long road. Uh, Between that and now, I had the privilege and honor of being uh, and spent some time with Mark Victor Hansen, the Chicken Soup author, and attended some of his events, got to know him a little bit, and he gave me some very, very good advice to do a series of books. And so over the years, 25, 30 years, I've accumulated about 2.5 million words. I finally, at the behest of my wife of 66 years, she said to me, David, why don't you sort that all out? So I did. And I'm not very techy, to be honest, but we finally got it organized. I have a fabulous publisher and I put it all together. We sorted it out, the theming. And so the first 7 books were my life in England, my life in Canada, and my life in the United States, entrepreneurship, uh, relationship. We had a book on marriage, of course. We've been married for 66 years. And so I've got some really good stuff in the books, frankly. And I wanted to get that out to the world so they can begin to learn what we have learned and maybe pick it up a little quicker than I did for sure. But it's been a very interesting process. And I had to get organized last year, a year and a half ago is when I finally pulled the trigger. And January 1st of last year is when I started the whole project and completed it on December the 31st of last year with 18 books total. Actually, there's a couple more in there that not are in there, but I've done it. It's an accomplished fact, documented, notarized, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, all on Amazon, of course. And that's the story of the book ride. Basically, it's been a lot of fun, frankly.
Lots of fun, definitely. You've been working toward this record since at least 2019 when you were 81. That 6 years old of focused effort, what kept you going through inevitable challenges and doubts? What does focus, action, results look like when you are chasing a world record?
Well, what it taught me, of course, I went back to one of the books Mark Victor and Jack Canfield wrote, The Power of Focus. I had to sit down and actually come to grips with my own procrastination, which is quite easy to do, of course. And procrastination is the mother of failure. So I finally learned I had to get organized, which I did. I got everything set up, divided into categories, basically suggested titles and so on. And gradually it fell into place, and then it became a production issue with the editing, formatting, and so on. So I would say the key element there was the disciplines to sit down and actually do the work in an organized fashion. I was not very good at that in the beginning, to be honest, but finally got it down and got it done, obviously.
Interesting, Mr. David. Your publishing platform is called famous50.com, a series where people can be in a book and perhaps become famous. Tell us about the concept. Are these books about you, or are you creating a platform for others to share their stories?
Creating a platform for others. There's about 112 categories, and that's going to be an internationally licensed program, by the way, and under famous50.com. The opportunity there to for someone that's interested in a country or they want to pick up and run with it. But the concept is to put for $50, put 50 people in a book with the like kind background interests of famous 50 accountants, famous 50 dentists, famous 50 singers, whatever the category is. There's 112 categories, I think it is, we have total. And that is now underway. I've done, I did one. I was under pressure to get book number 17. And by the way, just a quick FYI for your audience, I had no acquaintance or knowledge of chat until August of last year. And by that time, I'd done, I think, 8 or 9 of the books. But I found chat, and that's been an enormous help for me for research and so on. But the famous 50 category is a lot of fun. Book number 17, I did with the help of chat, and I came up with the concept, put it together. Uh, famous 50 body parts, and I asked chat to organize those for me, which was fine. And so the famous 50 category is going to be a lot of fun. It really is. It's going to be an interesting category in the publishing business.
Interesting, Mr. David. You've said that life is about leaving legacy that includes the memories we create and pass down. What does the record mean to your grandchildren, and how do you want them to remember this chapter?
Well, it goes back to, I think, when I was a child, I always wondered about that famous, supposedly famous, distant relative, and I finally figured out. Well, one day I was reading the stories to my grandson, and as I said, he said, "Why don't you put it all down?" I wanted to. My wife and I have we had 50. She had 15 minutes with a grandmother. That's the only grandmother connection she ever had. I had a loose connection with my grandmother in England during the summer months for about 4 years, and I wanted to put our life into words that our family, distant family, and future family could look back and say, well, that was very interesting. I would love to have known the in-depth, you know, the, the good, bad, and the ugly of my family history. And all I have are the memories of what I was told. There's nothing written down at all. So this is a first time effort. And I think, you know, now it would do families a great favor if someone was had the courage to sit down and actually put the family information together. It doesn't have to be perfect, but be able to pick it up and read about your relatives, your uncles, grandfathers, grandmothers, and so on. I think it's wonderful. And my grandkids, I wanted to give them some serious bragging rights to go along with that. So they now have that. They have the stories of my family and background and history, and also then they'll be able to relate that to their kids and their grandkids as their life goes forward. And that may be an ego trip, I'm not sure, but I've done it and I'm pleased that I did it. I'm actually very happy that I got the project finished. It was quite an undertaking, quite honestly, but I got it done, so I'm glad.
Congratulations, Mr. David. You've described yourself as someone who has reinvented himself three times. A corp management for 27 years, real estate investor for 17 years, an entrepreneur for 70 years. You're now 87 and you're still reinventing. What is the secret of constant renewal? How do you keep finding new chapters, Mr. David?
Well, my a lot. I'm blessed actually. I've got more bounce per ounce than most people half my age, and a lot of them are unfortunately dribbling, drooling, or shuffling. And I'm in good health. My wife and I have been married for 66 years, and she's been a very strong motivational pillar for me. But here's the thing: I think the word retire is basically a cuss word. It should be banned from the dictionary, I think, because when the brain retires, the body follows. And I have a lot of folks that ask me, well, what keeps you going, just like you did here now. Um, I think, first of all, it boils down to if you have the health to do it, and I do, and you don't need 100% health, but you need to have a healthy frame of mind and a good attitude. I live every day with gratitude and a good attitude. And once in a while, my wife talks about my attitude because it might change if I'm not able to get something done. But the reality is, I think we owe it to ourselves. Well, here's the thing: it takes three things to be happy. Okay, most people are chasing the buck, um, but it is not. It's not that. The first thing is someone or something to love. That could be a human being or a four-legged friend. Something to do that you like to do, and maybe you'll make some money out of it or not. Because if you're doing what you like to do, you're not going to be working. You're going to be having fun, like I do now. And I spent 25 years in the corporate world, basically a square peg in the round hole. And the third thing, of course, is something to look forward to. I really believe that's a key part of keeping you motivated. I am inspired every morning I get up and I look at the clock on my wall here and I see the time of the world going by, and I'm motivated to help people, show them the way, hopefully have them avoid the traps in life that I've traversed and benefited from. And out of every adversity, there comes, as we say, a seed of equal or greater benefit. And I've had a lot of that. We've had our issues in our relationship, of course, but the reality is, we're happy people and basically healthy people. And we have fun with life. We love to help people and maybe give them one of my little mantras is I aspire to inspire before I expire. And I like that one, of course. And then the other one is go be do. Go where you want to go, be what you want to be, and do what you want to do. And when you do that, you're going to be a fulfilled person in life, and your whole attitude can change about how you're helping people, giving back, and so on. And we love to do that. So, and I'm happy to help any of your audience, by the way. So, did I lose you, Daniel?
Test mic, test mic, test mic, test mic.